Good evening and welcome to Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Bernadine Jai Singha. Let's now take a look at headlines.
President launches construction of the longest irrigation tunnel in South Asia. India says cannot provide extension to the $400 million swap facility as Sri Lanka does not have a staff-level agreement with the IMF. CBSL settles the $400 million swap facility with India. Estate workers commence protests demanding for the 1,000 rupee daily wage. Revelations on plan to hand over estate lands to the Adani Group comes to light. Court issues order preventing a decision being taken on MP Ranjan Ramanayaka's parliamentary seat.
The construction work of the longest irrigation tunnel in the South Asia, Maha was commenced this morning under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa in Palugaswava, Anuradhapura.
The President was welcomed by the Minister of Irrigation Chamal Rajapaksa, ministers and parliamentarians who were at the location. The officials provided a brief of the project thereafter. After unveiling the plaque, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa commenced the construction work of the tunnel. The construction of this tunnel, also known as Maha, will be carried out under the first phase of the Maha project in the North Central Province in line with the Varisaubagya National Irrigation Program. The Maha will carry excess water from the Moragahakanda Reservoir and Kalu River to Yakkala across a 65-kilometer canal. The canal, once finished, will pass through 3 sanctuaries and hopes to reduce the damage caused to the environment and wild animals. According to the President's media division, President has given specific instructions to finish the Maha project in the North Central Province in 2025. The project was estimated to finish in 6 years. A total of $244 million will be spent on the Maha project.
The great King Parakramabahu said, "Let not a single drop of water that falls from the sky go to waste." The ambition of the President, our government and mine will be to let our farming community and the people reap the maximum benefits from the water that flows to the ocean.
Following the event, the farmers of Meegaswava handed over an epistle to the President requesting to provide solutions for lack of water in the area using the Yarnoya.
Sri Lanka has settled the $400 million currency swap facility obtained from the Reserve Bank of India, RBI. Why does Sri Lanka have to settle this loan facility now? This is a report on that.
On the 25th of July last year, Indian media reported that India agreed to a $400 million swap facility with Sri Lanka. According to reports, this currency swap arrangement will remain available till November 2022. However, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka today announced that this $400 million was settled. There has been no change in the way the loans are obtained. We have never had to pay the loans back early. We pay our loans back on time. So there is no issue. There has been no change in the repayment method of loans. We have repaid the loan due to India on time. Meanwhile, when inquired on the matter from the office of the Indian High Commissioner, it was confirmed that the Central Bank of Sri Lanka in July last year had made a request from the Indian Reserve Bank for a 3-month extension in the repayment of the $400 million loan. The office of the Indian High Commissioner said that this 3-month period ends in February 2021. The office of the Indian High Commissioner said that this 3-month period ends in February this year. The office of the Indian High Commissioner said further extension would require Sri Lanka having a successfully negotiated staff-level agreement for an IMF program, which Sri Lanka does not have at present. Meanwhile, Secretary to the Ministry of Finance S.R. Artigala said that the ministry is expecting to receive the $1.5 billion loan facility requested from China this month.
The Sinhalese movement convened a media briefing today and spoke about organised criminal leaders connected to Sri Lanka being arrested in India.
Kimbulale Guna is exposed. India, that has revealed information about Guna, has forgotten that a main person of the April 21st attack, a woman, is in India. Why did India all of a sudden remember Guna, who brought the terrorists for the assassination of Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga? Is he arrested by the law? We cannot disregard these matters.
Meanwhile, Indian Consul General in Hambantota PR Dipin met the Divisional Secretary of Kadavat Satara in Gaul, Himali Ratnavira. The Consul General has congratulated the Divisional Secretary for being awarded the Best State Sector Employee of 2020. The Consul General has thereafter held a discussion with the Divisional Secretary.
We were informed that an Indian Consul General of the Consulate General of India in Hambantota is in Gaul right now holding discussions. We are suspicious. We are suspicious as to whether deals regarding the port is being made in the Provincial Council in Gaul. We would like to remind you that we need answers for this. There is a story circulating right now that India is demanding a loan of $400 million we obtained be paid back. Now the loans can't be paid back in dollars. Now the port needs to be sold. We have the relevant documents. The relevant actions are underway to sell the Gaul police, post office, police barracks, the court in fort, 6 acres in the Gaul harbour and Rummasala official circuit bungalow. When they are sold, Sri Lanka won't be able to get them back. They are to be sold under the deals they have made with their foreign associates. That is because now dollars are important to them.
Meanwhile, with the support of the Ceylon Workers' Congress led by State Minister Jeevan Thondaman, estate workers engaged in a protest today demanding the daily 1,000 rupee wage. In line with the protest, hartals were carried out in certain areas in line with this protest. Our reporters said that businessmen in Bhagawantalawa, Norwood, Muskelia, Kottagal and Thalawakale have also closed down shops to support the trade union action. According to our correspondent, activities at government and private institutions were disrupted today. A protest is carried out in Deraniyagala by estate workers demanding a solution to the wage problem. In support of the trade union action launched by the estate workers, shops in C Street, Colombo 11 were closed for several hours and a demonstration was carried out at the Gas Paha junction. The demonstration is carried out with the attendance of workers from estates employed in Colombo.
This has gained the attention on an international level. We have gotten the support from 8 countries through PSI trade unions.
The All Ceylon Estate Workers Association explained this further yesterday during a public meeting in Haliala.
As of today, the company gives a sum close to 700 rupees. The remaining 250 should be given by the government. There is no need of agreements for that. It was proposed in the budget to give 1,000 rupees. It has to be given. We saw an article on the Sunday newspaper saying that the government is ready to hand over the underutilized estate lands of the country to the Adani Group. This is what the government is planning while the wage issue continues to grow. The estates have to be secured.
The Sinhalay movement convened a media briefing today and spoke about organized criminal leaders connected to Sri Lanka being arrested in India.
Kimbulale Guna is exposed. India, that has revealed information about Guna, has forgotten that a main person of the April 21st attack, a woman, is in India. Why did India all of a sudden remember Guna, who brought the terrorists for the assassination of Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga? Is he arrested by the law? We cannot disregard these matters.
Meanwhile, Indian officials have taken steps to conduct a DNA test on the organized criminal gang leader Angodalokka, said to have died in India a few months ago. Sri Lanka police said the Criminal Investigations Department is in the process of sending the DNA profiles of next of kin of Angodalokka to India. Police spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana said the National Investigation Agency of India requested Sri Lanka police to send the DNA profiles of the next of kin of Angodalokka to confirm the identity by conducting biological tests. Angodalokka, who is said to have died in Coimbatore, India last August, had been residing there under the alias Pradeep Singh. Meanwhile, a vessel suspected to have been used to transport drugs to Sri Lanka was seized in Pitipana, Negombo. At the time the police discovered the vessel, it had been torched by an unidentified group. The police discovered this vessel based on information uncovered when the wife of the notorious drug smuggler Shiva was interrogated.
දැන් ජනාධිපතිතුමා නීතිපතිට කියනවලු අදාළ නිර්දේශ ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න කියලා. මොකක්ද දැන් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න හදන්නේ?
There is a story that the president has asked the AG to carry out the relevant recommendations. We do not know what these recommendations are. Who controls Zahran? Who paid him a salary? Who provide them with training to be able to hide from the intelligence agencies? I can inform the AG about all of these things. I was not called to the commission. We are not called. Jamil, the Dehiwala bomber. Where is his brother Hakim? He lived next to Ibrahim's house. Who is this Jamil? He is a person who has been deported from Australia for being involved in a terrorist organization there. He went and placed his signature every Sunday with the intelligence units in Sri Lanka. Then every Sunday he would go to Ibrahim's house, sit with him in his Benz and chat with him. The intelligence units would go there. So this is a person who was being monitored by the intelligence units of the country. How did a person who was monitored like this go and explode a bomb? Why did they not look into this? The commission could not find this. Mr. President, if you do not reveal who controls Zahran, I will do so by holding press conferences. Before speaking about the April bombing, create the proper background to do so. Are we a part of India for India to know what happened in Sri Lanka? You will not be able to shut me up using various reports. You cannot use the CID to shut me up.
ඒ හින්දා අපි කියන ඔය වාර්තා ගහලා මගේකට වහන්න බෑ. CID දාලා මගේකට.
Various views were expressed about the loss incurred by the country due to corruption and about the delay of bringing the perpetrators before justice at several media briefings held today.
The tax fraud from the sugar scam comes up to about 15 billion rupees. We reveal information regarding that. That was done to please a selected group of best friends of this government. The government imported cooking oil, defrauding billions of rupees. How can you say that there is no room for fraud and corruption within this government when more money has been robbed through these things than the central bank bond scam? It is only the president who can cancel the decision the prime minister for the betterment of the innocent people of this country. It is a powerful Muslim businessman who is behind the cancellation of the gazette issued by the prime minister. So who is behind the sugar scam? That is also a powerful Muslim businessman. All of them have helped the president in the election. In the recent past, we talked about a group of friends of the government who revolved around a businessman who carried out a low-class media campaign. But now these friends have grouped into two, a Sinhala group of friends and a Muslim group of friends. Therefore, it is these friends who robbed this country, amounting up to losses more than the central bank bond scam has incurred. It is these two groups of friends who changed good decisions made for the poor people of this country. Against such a backdrop, the president says that it is the people who are responsible for the corruption and the wastage in the country. On the other side, he asks us to speak against corruption. But what attention has been drawn into what we have said? Recently, we talked about the fraudulent activities of the chairman of the People's Bank and the corrupt activities that are being carried out at the Bank of Ceylon. Did the president talk about that? Is the main man in this circle of friends.
ලංකා බැංකුවේ වංචාවන් පිළිබඳව නිකන් ගෙනල්ලා කතා කරා ජනාධිපතිවරයා. විශේෂයෙන්ම තමයි මේ ගජමිතුරු කල්ලියේ ඉන්න ලොකුම හෙවණැල්ල.
A gazette was issued regarding tiles used to build toilets. Restart the importation that was halted. Import them because of public demand, but this gazette is not issued. We would like to kindly ask His Excellency the President, who are the invisible forces doing this? Who is doing this? Is this being done by a businessman? Or are they racketeers? Who is behind this? Who stopped this gazette? How was it that a loan was given to purchase cigarettes? They say Muslims are racist, but Muslim businessmen are friendly. They are doing business with them. Is this right? Who is behind corruption, fraud and environmental destruction? Are they aliens? We would like to ask this. Are these people not from this country? We would like to add the next film at the end of this. At the end of that film, the West Terminal will be given to foreign factions.
On the cabinet paper presented by Minister Rohit Abegunawardena on the 22nd of October, it is stated that this terminal will be given because there is nothing else that can be done. They said they will have to give this to India to prevent losing our transshipments with India. Also, they said that this terminal must be given to India because the Hambantota port was given to China. When the trade union activists held discussions with the president did not say that the East Container Terminal will be 100% operated by the Ports Authority. He did not say that this will continue to function under the Ports Authority and that he will not give it away to anyone else. During the meeting, the president said, "I have nothing else to do. We will have to keep 49% and give away the rest." He said the same thing when the Indian foreign minister came to Sri Lanka. When these things happened, where were the people who are thanking the president now? They always try to hand over this terminal to the Indian Adani group. We are not concerned about how the relationship between Basil Rajapaksa and the Indian Adani group is like, but they acted firmly on that stance. Minister Vimal Weerawansa at one point said that the cabinet paper presented by Rohit Abegunawardena were not cabinet papers but concept documents. What were the amendments presented by these so-called cardboard patriots when Rohit Abegunawardena presented this cabinet document praising the Adani group? They are saying that the president decided that this terminal must remain 100% under the Ports Authority. It was always under the Ports Authority. This terminal was not taken away from the Indian Adani group and handed over to the Ports Authority by the president. Now they are showing this book titled Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor and are saying that there is an agreement to give away the West Container Terminal. They are saying that there is an agreement to bring investors for the West Container Terminal. So, we will protect the East Container Terminal and give away the West Container Terminal. But this document does not specify if it will be given to a local investor or a foreign investor. It has not specifically mentioned that 85% of this terminal will be given to India. They are trying to show the younger sister and give away the older sister. There is no mandate to give away the West Container Terminal. Private investments do not mean it is open only to India. These people who go around reciting the phrase, "We have a mandate," have forgotten the sentence mentioned here. The policy statement clearly states that discussions will be launched promptly with China.
In the latest news released by the UNHRC, UN human rights experts have expressed their deep concern about the reversal of important democratic gains achieved since 2015 and rollback on limited progress made on accountability, reconciliation in Sri Lanka since the government withdrew its support from the resolution Human Rights Council Resolution 30/1 in February 2020.
The UN experts have announced, quote, "In the spirit of cooperation, we, the mandate holders who visited Sri Lanka since 2015, find it timely and opportune to recall some key recommendations as the developments over the past year have had profound negative impact on human rights in Sri Lanka," unquote. Since Sri Lanka issued a standing invitation to the special procedures mandate holders in 2015, 10 special procedure mandates conducted country visits. The UNHRC in a statement says that through these country visits, special procedures have identified root causes, patterns and complexities relating to a history of conflict, human rights violations and abuses and impunity in Sri Lanka and made more than 400 recommendations to Sri Lanka on a range of human rights issues.
Minister Udaya Gammanpilla dismissed the report issued by the UNHRC High Commissioner on Sri Lanka today, claiming it includes incorrect information. The minister made these remarks during a media briefing held today.
මහජන ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍ය ධූරයට නාවික හමුදාවේ
They've raised concerns over the appointment of retired Rear Admiral Salat Weerasekara to the post of Minister of Public Security. He was presented a ministerial portfolio after 10 years since he joined politics. Is the UNHRC attempting to rid all retired Triforces personnel of their civic rights? He was elected into parliament with a massive mandate of more than 300,000 votes. Tamil separatists have failed to prove the allegations they have levelled against Army Commander Savendra Silva for the past 12 years over war crimes. It is in such light that a High Commissioner on Human Rights has classified the Army Commander as a war criminal. Being appointed the Army Commander during the previous regime was justifiable, but serving in that post during our government is a crime. It very clearly depicts the insincere attention of the High Commissioner. We believe she is being manipulated by sympathizers of the LTTE. We honour the decision made by the government to reject this report.
වාර්තාව සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරන්න ගත්ත තීන්දුවට අපි හිස නමා ප්‍රණාමය පුද කරන්න මේක අවස්ථාවක් කරගන්න.
Several civic groups handed over an epistle to the UN office in Sri Lanka opposing the report of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights on Sri Lanka.
The UN cannot impose sanctions on Sri Lanka. That has to be done by the Security Council. China and Russia are with us. US can impose sanctions on an individual capacity. This is done to scare us.
If the High Commissioner of the UNHRC is poking fingers into our affairs and trying to carry out things according to the whims and fancies of the diaspora, if this persists, we as a nation will have to take a decision on that. Therefore, we would like to tell her to discard her wrong opinions, and we will take good care of our independence. We are not ready to listen to other people's advices. We would like to remind her of that. The government uses the grievances of the people of the north to nurture racism, but when the UNHRC says something, all hell breaks loose. Apart from talking about all the serious issues that are present in the country at the moment, they have brought up this UNHRC report to stir racial tensions. So even the media can put all the other important issues in the country under the wraps. What I see is that there is an agreement between the government and the UNHRC. Every year around March they publish a report, and the government depends on it to carry out their agendas. For how long have we seen these theatrics? Racial tensions are flared in the north and the south, and the human rights are violated to the outside world as well.
Okay, උතුරු ජාතිවාදීත්වය විශ්සෙනවා, දකුණු ජාතිවාදීත්වය විශ්සෙනවා. ඒගොල්ලොන්ගේ මානවික ගනුත විශ්සෙනවා.
Meanwhile, the National Movement for Legal Reform expressed its views on the Special Presidential Commission appointed by the President recently.
We got
to know that the members of the Commission have included new recommendations to the report after handing it over to the President. Under a new section of the report, the Commission has made recommendations on providing redress to the complainants. They have inserted a recommendation to withdraw the case filed at the Galle Magistrates Court against Nisanka Senadipati and called on the government to pay compensation for the Rakna Lanka and Avantgarde companies as a result of breaching an agreement. Another recommendation has been made seeking to call off the CID's investigations into Lalit Viratunga. A gazette was then published to appoint a special presidential commission to review these hilarious recommendations. There is a legal issue on whether a body can be appointed under the Special Presidential Commissions Act to review a report prepared by a panel appointed under the Commissions of Inquiry Act. They are trying to suppress the independence of the judiciary before the eyes of the people. Take a look at the allegations made by the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet. Half of the allegations are based on activities carried out by the government in the past year. This includes the punishment of investigation officers such as Chania Besekara. All these activities have been mentioned in the report of the Human Rights Chief. The Court of Appeal today ordered the Secretary General of Parliament to refrain from taking any action with respect to the parliamentary seat of Ranjan Ramanayaka until the 12th of February 2021. The order was made when an application filed by Ranjan Ramanayaka against making his parliamentary seat vacant was taken up in the presence of Court of Appeal President Arjuna Besekara and Justice Mayaduna Korea. The application will be called up again on the 11th of February 2021.
Ranjan Ramanayaka.
We would like to inform that we are engaged in a legal, constitutional, democratic battle on behalf of the humanitarian Ranjan Ramanayaka. A senior President's Council and a bar of lawyers will work to protect his rights.
While Indian farmers are engaged in strikes to protect their rights, Sri Lankan farmers are also facing many hardships. The farmers of Ehatuwewa in Galgamur have not yielded a satisfactory harvest this time around. They claim that the paddy that was cultivated is not going to yield a harvest as well. Farmers in a number of areas in Sri Lanka continue to voice the many issues they have faced over a prolonged period of time. However, these issues seem to remain unanswered.
In line with the 73rd Independence Day, a celebration event was held at the Memon Association in Colombo yesterday.
This is the inaugural flag hoisting ceremony held at the Memon Association in Colombo to mark the Independence Day of Sri Lanka. The Memon Association was formed in the year 1956 and has been instrumental in assisting and supporting the Memon community in Sri Lanka for over half a century. The event yesterday was attended by Ajit Niwad Cabral, State Minister of Money and Capital Market and State Enterprises Reforms, A.G. Yasin, the President of the Memon Association in Sri Lanka, and other members of the community.
With that, we wrap up Primetime News. I'm Bernadine Jaya Singha, and the interpreter for tonight is Taraka Gabriel. Good night. Take care.